All right guys, so welcome back to the channel, and if you're tuning in, you are tuning in for some of my top tips for the driver. I'm going to give you 5 tips that will revolutionize your driver, give you more distance, give you more consistency, but it's got to be the most important club in the golf bag. Surely you've got to hit grass off the tee. I don't care whether it's fairway or rough, we've got to keep the ball in play. That's how you score. Once you've done that, then we get to the next important part of the game, which is, well, it's everything else, isn't it? So stay tuned. 5 tips coming up on how you can improve this beast, how you can hit more fairways, how you can hit it further. But before we get involved in all of that, please do subscribe to the channel, and also this content hopefully adds value to your games. If so, let's smash on that like button as well. But stay tuned, let's get stuck in. Okay, so in this first tip, I'm going to be covering a little 2-in-1 to start with. I'm going to be starting with ball position because it's very relevant to body position at setup, and then that's also then very relevant to angle of attack, which we're going to talk about right now. So first of all, tee height, just about half of the golf ball crowning above the top of the driver. What you tend to find is golfers that tee it up too low are those that kind of create that downward angle of attack because they're scared of skying the ball. So if some golfers watching this now, if you tee the ball up there, you'd be scared of skying it. Now, 9 out of 10 times, it's not because you've got under it too much, it's actually because you've come down on it too much. So you've come down onto the golf ball and it's actually hit the roof of the head, which sends it straight up into the air. So naturally what you then do is you tee it lower to stop that happening, which, yeah, makes absolute pure sense. But what it also does, it makes you hit down on the ball more. So 2 things can happen from there. We get that spinny one that goes high off to the right hand side, or we get the super low one that goes to the left hand side. So tee height actually is a huge importance as to how you're then going to set up to then how you're going to swing it. So persevere with this tee height, because what we're going to do then is we're going to look at the ball position. So it's going to go inside the left heel, bigger step with the trail foot, and I'm going to make sure now, because of this, my head is to the side of my driver, so it's further away from the golf ball. Now we're talking about angle of attack. So what angle of attack is the angle in which the golf ball club hits the golf ball. Okay, so what you should know already is that with an iron and with chipping and stuff like that, you tend to hit down on the ball because it helps create height and it helps create backspin, which when you're landing into a green, it stops it faster. So if we can imagine ball positions in the center with an iron, my spine angle, my sternum, my head's kind of central as well, and when I hit my low point of the swing, that's when I also get the ball. So I'm hitting down on the ball. That's a descending angle of attack. So what we're going to do differently with the driver is going to move the ball position further forward. But what I'm going to try and do is almost going to try and keep my arc in the same place. So I want my low point to be 2 or 3 inches in front of the golf ball. So when I come up to the ball, I'm hitting it on the way up. Hitting it on the way up actually reduces the backspin because you're coming in like this. You're just pushing it up into the air. The distance and the power is going to come from the movements in your body, which we're going to come to later on in this video. But hitting it up into the air without creating lots and lots of spin. Now, a great tip for this is very simple. You just need another tee. Get the other tee, put it in line with the target, and the goal here is to basically not hit the tee on your way through. So if I land my club short of the ball, it's then working up to the ball and it's going to go up and over the tee. So that is how I'm going to have that visualization that I'm swinging the club on the up relative to the golf ball. Oh, beauty. Hit it straight up into the air. Now, when I'm finished like this, we're going to talk about weight distribution on the driver as well. When I'm finished like this, my head position relative to the ball is still behind it. So I've coming from that hit up on the ball from that angle of attack. Okay, so as I briefly just touched on then, we're going to be talking about body weight in the golf swing, because again, when we're hitting an iron, we often move down in towards that left side as we rotate. But with the driver, it's going to be slightly different. Okay, so body position with the driver is slightly different to the iron, whereas the body weight doesn't tend to move as much towards the left-hand side. So if I take my setup here, with this little tilt of the shoulders, what we want to try and encourage, maybe just a 5-degree tilt, we never want to see it down here too much. With this little tilt of the shoulders, a little bit more body weight is going to go down the inside of your trail leg. Now, I'm talking 1%, okay? Very, very easy to exaggerate these tips, but 5 degrees, 1%. We're talking minuscule, 55%, 45%, okay? I see a lot of this, so we definitely want to stay away from that. So, but as the ball position moves forward, and the head stays to the right of the ball, I'm just going to tilt the shoulders a little bit. So this is coming back to angle of attack from earlier in the video, but as we're doing this as well, it helps pop a little bit more weight down this right hand side. Now as I get to the top of the backswing, I want to try and stay in there. So what you should notice is my right knee stays on the inside of my right foot. Again, one of the common faults I see is that golfers in general know that the body weight shifts, so they allow it to shift, but actually it will naturally shift just by the mechanics of the golf swing. So as you start to swing back, if you allow it to swing too much, I see this a lot, the right knee's gone on the outside of the right foot. What I want to try and see is as we rotate to the top is that the right hip works back and the right knee has stayed stationary. Now I've still got weight down the instep of my right side, okay? I haven't let it go to the outside, because from here we're in no man's land, all right? So body weight position as I get to the top of the backswing, this right knee is going to stay stabilized as this right hip rotates back. Now on the downswing, the energy is going to move in towards this left side, but my spine angle and my head are still to the right of the ball. So this gives me that angle of attack we spoke about earlier where we can hit up on the ball, but in terms of body weight, I'm pretty central, it's pretty even. Haven't tried to go too much to the left side because it'll adjust the angle of attack and hit down on the ball. Okay, so as a quick recap on all of that so far, we're going to be looking at the ball position being on the inside of that left heel, tee height just above the top of the drive. That's not necessarily a tip though. And we're going to try and get the feel that we're hitting up on the ball. So we've got that little tilt of the shoulders, 5 degrees towards the sky, which helps bring the weight down this inside of the right foot. And then as a result, you can then start to hit up on the golf ball. So they're the very, very key elements before we get on to the actual clincher. Oh, it's absolutely mullered. Whew, that was tasty. Okay, so the last one we're talking about, and the big one, this is a huge one. It's something that comes into every golf lesson I teach, and it's all about the use of the body and the use of the arms. A lot of golfers tend to end up kind of over there because it's a powerful feeling to throw your arms at the golf ball and create speed that way. But as I'm sure many of you actually do know, that's not the powerful movement in the golf swing. The powerful movement in the golf swing is going to be coming from these bigger muscles. So all the energy that the arms are producing can be distributed across the body more evenly, and then we can add arms and then we can add wrists again. So the speed that you're probably swinging at now, if you fall into this category, you could be swinging it so much faster as well, which, hey, that's a great thing. Faster swing speed, faster ball speed, hitting up on the golf ball, more distance. Oh my days, that's the dream, isn't it? Right, so one of the things I always say is the feel of the arms. All the arms do in the golf swing is they do this. They go up and down. So as I turn my body, my arms go up. As my arms come down, I turn my body. But what a lot of golfers forget is, and not on purpose obviously, you rotate up, but then you slash with the arms down, because it's that instant reaction of hitting a golf ball. So a really good little drill for this is just to kind of get the feeling and just do it slowly. I mean, again, this is a funny thing. A lot of golfers say, but I can't swing slow. It's like, you can, you just don't know how to do it yet. You've got to, if you can hit a good golf shot swinging slow, you can hit a good golf shot swinging fast. Trust me, it's hard to strike it at slow speed because you've lost all your timing. So just getting that feel there, let your arms just drop down and let your body turn. If you can get it out of the middle like that, at that speed, then you can start to feel the sequencing of the golf swing to then start to hit the ball further. So the feel is that the arms will always work down to the ground, and then what carries this golf club back to the ball is the rotation of the body. The arms down to the ground, the rotation of the body. Just put the club on the deck here and just use your chest and use your hips to pull all the way through the target. Then after that, your hands will start to add more speed, because this is something called flash speed. Flash speed is very relevant, very key into adding speed. You look at a lot of golfers, they create so much speed, but they do it with their hands as well as their body. And adding the hands adds a lot of difficulty in terms of timing, because you've got to be able to manipulate the club face. You've got to be able to understand where the club face is. But on the other side of that, you have to use your hands, because if you think about it, you've been rotating this club face, which is a straight angle on a circle. So the club face has always been rotating through the swing. Now, psychologically, you know that the club face has started straight and you feel like you just turned your body. So psychologically, it's very easy to think, well, if I turn back and don't use my hands, it'll go straight. But actually, because you've effectively turned it into the circle, you turned it against the circle, it's actually come back open. So once you've rotated to the top, you've turned that club face. So as you're working back down, you've got to make sure that club face turns back. And then obviously then we're adding speed, because we're releasing that angle of the club. And you'll often hear that swooshy little sound. So the swooshy sound is at the bottom of the arc as you're hitting the ball. So it's that added little bit of speed that's going to give you more distance. But very important that you first of all get the club into position, use your big muscles to come through the ball to get your strike, and then you can add the speed afterwards, because the speed is going to come to start with from your body. Because it's like if you think about how the club head is, it's the club head that, let's say if it's traveling at 100 mile an hour, your stomach isn't traveling at 100 mile an hour. This is at the end, this is at the very end of the lever. So as my stomach turns, my arms come, my wrists come. Now it's at 100 miles an hour. This has just gone like that. So this has turned like 50, 20, 10, whatever it is, I've got no idea, but it's a lot slower than 100. So if you can get the club head speed to 100, your torso is turning a lot slower. And that's what you want to try and do regardless of your club head speed. That was just purely as an example. So as your arms start to come back down, get the rotation working through the ball, that's where your power is going to come from. And then you can release the club face through impact and get the club face back to square, which is also going to help you add swing speed. Guys and ever, thanks very much for watching this video. If it's helped, if it's added value to your golf game, do hit that like button. Also, please do hit that subscribe button. If you are struggling with a driver, very, very soon, there is going to be a driver giveaway. So in preparation for that, sorry, there's a fly on my lens. In preparation for that, please do hit that subscribe button, because you will be in the draw automatically. Right, let's finish. Put all those points together. Ball position inside the left heel, slight tilt of the shoulders away from the golf ball, away from the target, head behind the driver head, and using the torso, using the shoulders to get that rotation. So as the arms come down, I'm going to use that rotation through the ball. Ripped. Love that. Guys, see you again.